doesn't freak out at backup sights on my gun, don't worry, Murr is taking care of it. Why?
Yeah, the statistical probability of you using those is pretty low.
Because everyone in the comment section said I should.
It's not a fighting rifle without irons. Whatever, if you can have them, have them. You're never gonna use them, but if you got the room, why not?
So I got the room, so why not? What's going on, guys? This is Murr. Today I'm here with Nate Murr.
Hey everybody.
There he is. And we're gonna talk to you today about the over-exaggerated C-clamp. I saw this article on SOFREP. I found it rather interesting. And since one of your products you designed in the past, the Gripstop, kind of assists people with a C-clamp grip, I figured you'd be a good guy to ask about this.
Yeah.
Plus I have my own kind of personal usage of it. So let's get down to it as far as what we saw in the article.
All right, well, I'm not gonna turn this into a Gripstop commercial, okay? Which it totally is, but anyway, all right, so there's a lot of different shooting styles. A lot of people, they're just different people. They shoot in different ways. Their body structure, like big guys with long arms hold a rifle in a different place than a shorter guy with shorter arms, right? So the thing is, there's no wrong way to hold a rifle. It allows you to accomplish your goal, which is to shoot accurately and quickly. So the thing is, like, the whole debate about like vertical grip versus hand stop versus grip stop versus like whatever you want to put on your gun, running it slick, whatever. I don't care what you put on your gun. Like, I have some guns that have vertical grips on it. I have some guns that are slick, right? So it's really like what you're trying to get out of that particular platform that you're shooting, right? What I look at it like this is that the C-clamp grip isn't anything new. I can show you pictures of guys like in the Rhodesian army doing a C-clamp grip on a FAL. You can see pictures of guys holding M1 Garands in World War II doing something that resembles a C-clamp grip, right? And obviously there wasn't any like vertical grips or anything like that back then, so you know, the guys just figured out what worked for them and they used it to win their particular war. The style of shooting, it's kind of up to you, right? What I like, and this is kind of like one of the reasons why I developed the Gripstop, is I wanted something that assisted in pulling the weapon back into your shoulder pocket, right? So you got a good purchase on your weapon. Your support hand side is what is actually driving the weapon from target to target. It has more control over your long gun than your gun hand does, which is really, realistically, your gun hand controls the safety of the magazine release and the trigger. So you don't have to have a death grip on your rifle with your gun hand. Right. It's your support hand side, right? So like you'll see guys like still do the magazine well hold. Like for me, that's not as a stable way to drive the target weapon from target to target. But if you're getting your hits and you're doing it in a timely manner, then who am I to criticize your magazine well hold, right? So like with the Gripstop, it's the sense of there's no wrong way to use it as long as it supports and assists your particular shooting method. And what I think is, regardless if you do thumb parallel to the bore, a standard C-clamp grip like you guys see me shoot, and Murr's use also, versus like the super over the top like Chris Costa exaggerated way, it's all the same if you're getting your hits. Now there's the argument about like, well, if you have an exaggerated over the top grip, like super duper C-clamp grip, whatever you want to call it, that it limits your field of view, which if you're doing it that high, it certainly can. I think more annoyingly, and you know, I think we both realize that it hinders your view of your op, and it's a minimal trade-off. Like for me, it's like what little added control I may or may not gain from that isn't worth obscuring my optic and obscuring my view of the target.
I couldn't actually do it when I tried it earlier. The exaggerated one, it just felt strange. Huh?
Yoke up more. Seriously, yoke up. You're holding it. It's not how you're holding it. There we go.
I can't even. It's like trying to find a. I can't do it. I can't even see the optic right.
Yeah, you can't.
And I went back, I read the article, and before, actually it's funny, it came up because we were getting together today. I saw the article yesterday, and I thought, you know, that's a really good discussion point, because a lot of people ask me about the C-clamp, they post comments and stuff. And like you were saying, in the article, they're talking specifically about the exaggerated one. Right. Where your arm is way up here.
Yeah, it's like contorted,
crazy.
Like over the top of the rifle. It's
like I went back and looked at photos of me and photos of you shooting from all the different video and pictures I have, and because I asked myself the question like, oh shit, do I do that too? Because I don't think I do, and I don't. I have enough that it's a good support and I can drive the gun and everything, but I don't have it up to where my peripheral vision's screwed up like you'd see in the article. So that was one of the main things in the article, was that.
And the thing that like it kind of goes back to like, it's very rare that you see anybody do any version of the C grip, right? further back on the gun. You mostly see it as far, like full extension, right? Their arm's fully extended. Some guys even hyperextend their arm. And like, here's the 2 points behind it, is that when you pull up the rifle, the point of having a vertical grip or grip stop or hand stop or whatever you're using is to pull the weapon back into your shoulder pocket. The point of the thumb part of the C is put downward pressure, right? So I'm pulling it back into my shoulder pocket where I have a good purchase on it, I have good control over it, I can manage the recoil, and I put the downward pressure of my thumb to control muzzle rise, right? The C part, the thumb part, is more about mitigating that muzzle rise than anything. So if you go and do that exaggerated, like way over the top, you have a better purchase on keeping muzzle rise down, but you don't really have a good enough grip to pull it back in your shoulder pocket. So you're kind of trading one for the other for minimal, in my experience, in my opinion, for minimal gain. So like the analogy you guys have heard me say before, lots of people have heard me say, it's like a pen. Do I try to write my name with a pen by holding it at the very back of the pen? No, we all do the same thing. We choke up and put control where control is needed. Because that pen tip is your muzzle. You're articulating where you want that muzzle to go. So from target to target to target, or are you trying to write your name in cursive? It's about articulation. The closer your hand is to the muzzle, where the majority of the weight of the weapon is, especially with a suppressor in your gun, the more easy it's going to be for you to drive from target to target and stop on a dime and not overpass your target and have to correct and come back on it. So it doesn't matter, in my opinion, my humble opinion, as a guy that like invented something to assist this style of shooting and a person that uses this style of shooting, I don't care what variant you use or if you use it at all, as long as you're getting your hits and you're doing it in a timely fashion. You got that speed and accuracy. So, I mean, I look at it like this, like if somebody's criticizing the way you're handling your rifle, but you got the proof down range to show that, hey, this is working for me. It could be the over-the-top crazy grip, or it could be the magwell grip, or anything in between. Using no vertical grip or hand stop or anything. As long as you got your hits, who are they to throw shade, as the kids are saying these days?
So the one part of this article that came up is in regards to exposing vital organs, more so than if I guess you just normally C-clamped it. So you're like this, and you can see it in the pictures in the article. I mean, people are really torquing up versus this. So this, which is fucking weird, versus this. You can see it's really...
What's changing with your arm, right?
There's no one behind the camera, don't fucking freak out. It's like this, or, you know.
So I'm saying, like, if you get shot in the armpit, nothing's gonna change there, right? You get shot through the arm. All right, like, look, in the beginning of the war, like, dudes didn't even have sappy plates, okay? And then some dudes had, like me, I had one sappy plate, and we used to joke about, do we put it in the front or we put it in the back so we don't get shot in the back, right? And then my next deployment, we had 2 sappy plates. And then the deployment after that, we had 2 sappies, side sappies, arm sappies. Like you're turning into a tactical turtle. You get more armor than you can actually even maneuver in, right? You're trading speed for protection, which is not necessarily a good thing. But the thing is that the Iraqis, realizing that we were wearing sappy plates, started waiting for side shots. And they would wait and they would shoot for your arm. The snipers would shoot for your arm, knowing that a 7.62x54R out of Dragunov was going to go right through that arm, right through that bone, and into your lungs and the vital organs of your upper chest, right? So the armpit, no matter how you add it up, no matter what armor you're wearing, with the exception of like wearing full deltoid protection with sappy plates, you're vulnerable, right? So I look at it like this. It's kind of like a weak sauce argument to say that, like, well, you're exposing your vitals more. Like, no matter what, like, you're gonna have vitals exposed at all times, and it's like everything you do or fail to do can get you killed, right? So if you can shoot better and more effective that way, and you can be the first one on target and the first one to get your hit on that target, then who cares that you're exposing yourself a millimeter more? There's a point of diminishing return when it comes to like exposure and this kind of stuff, right? For me, it's all about speed and accuracy. Those are the only 2 things that matter. And if I have to compromise my protection of my armor by 3 inches or whatever it might be, I'm opening myself up to my vitals to a hit. My vitals are open to a hit all the time. Like, my face is open to a hit right now. You know, it's like I can't do anything about that. You just have to accept it. And if you get hit, maybe it had nothing to do with what you're doing. It has everything to do with just it wasn't your day, you know, or it was your day, you know, from the punch your ticket. I don't know. What I'm saying is, my whole premise on this Is that like, is it viable for combat, right? So like right now there's dudes overseas hunting down ISIS and they're doing C-clamp grips.
Or are they doing the exaggerated C-clamp, I guess?
I don't know. I've gone and shot with a lot of really cool guys. Guys do cooler jobs than I ever did, and I see some of them do it, and I see a bunch of them not do it. It's nobody corrects anybody and says you're doing this wrong. If you got the hits and you got the accuracy, who am I to criticize you? So I know there are some guys out there, the professional soldiers out there that use that style of grip. It's not nearly as many that in comparison to guys doing a thumb forward grip or a more classic, if you will, for lack of a better term, standard C grip, where it's not over exaggerated.
So the people doing the over exaggerated are probably like the 10% of the shooters.
This has been my experience. I know really big dudes, like 6'7" guys with massive long arms, are usually the ones that I see doing the exaggerated C grip, C clamp grip. So I like what you know. I've been told this by other guys. Like if you carry a rifle all day, every day, like a Marine or a soldier would do, right? It gets tiresome. And if you're doing a raid, you're hitting houses, like McPhee even said to me that if you hold a gun this way all day long and you're just going into houses, lifting your rifle up, lifting your rifle up, lifting your rifle up, it gets heavy. You're supporting a lot of weight by having it further out there. And you'll watch guys, and you can see it on like in carbine classes sometimes, where they start getting sloppy. They start getting tired, start getting fatigued, and their grip slowly changes and starts coming back and becoming more of a pedestal than a full over-the-top grip. So the thing is, it's like, all right, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like fatigue is fatigue. The better shape that you're in, the more ability you have to haul around the weight of your weapon, your gear, the better you're gonna be. But realize if you're doing it all day long, like you can only do that for so long, and you're gonna end up compromising your grip. So like, it's the first raid of the night, and you go in, and it's just you're just like blah 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 blah. You're burning bad guys down. Well, that's fine, but if it's like 10 houses later, like it's gonna get tiresome. You're probably gonna compromise the way you handle your rifle, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of guys don't run anything on their rifle. You see slick handguards, and so that they have the ability to slide their hand back and forth and put their hand where they need to for that particular shooting position, or the fact that their arm's getting fatigued.
Now, do you think there's a difference between fatigue with a C clamp versus just a straight?
No, I mean I don't. I think it's probably about the same.
Because you can
same amount of fatigue, right?
You can kind of be like this instead of like this.
I mean, I think it's going to depend on the person. It's going to depend on your physical fitness, like your muscular strength, how heavy of a weapon you're carrying. There's a lot of variables that go into it. So,
but physical fitness definitely does go into it.
Definitely,
So,
yeah. I mean, like you're holding anywhere from 7 to 15 pounds of rifle in the up position.
If you're like a boss like you with the 2 mags and see more.
Yeah, like you're adding more weight to your gun, which is one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of guys using dual mags or larger drum magazines, because you're adding that weight on your weapon. Like I carried a beta mag like an idiot for about 1 week in Iraq, and having 100 rounds of 5.56 strapped onto a rifle, it like, you know, practically double the weight of the gun. It was just too heavy to carry around for patrol, right? What it was really good for was fighting from the D, like put in an M4 and having it up in the turret for the turret gunner. Or if you're in a security position where you can just pop it in, you're not really maneuvering from there, and the gun's just sitting there on your lap or in front of you or whatever. You're not supporting the weight all day. The thing is, like, even if you're a big jacked, just yoked dude running around the battlefield, like, everybody gets tired sooner or later, you know? As far as like the combat viability of it, if it works for you, use it. And if it stops working, then stop trying to make it work for you. Compromise your shooting technique and go to an alternative, you know? So if I can't hold my rifle up like this all day, and I start to do that where I start on a pedestal or whatever, I can still use my Gripstop that way. I can split fingers between it. I can ignore, like it's not even there on my gun at all. I can use it in a variety of situations where it's still worth having on the gun, even if I change how I hold the rifle. Your situation is going to dictate, you know?
Yeah, and by all means, you'll learn all this if you go to a 2-day course. So go to a course, feel your stuff out. Don't just read articles that are on the internet and then think, oh, you know what, that's not really for me, or oh, that's gonna fatigue me, so I shouldn't do that. You know, don't just read articles and kind of, I mean, go out and actually do this stuff for yourself. Like go to courses.
Doing this for 15 minutes in your living room is not the same thing as doing up-down drills all day long at a carbine class.
Yeah.
And that's not even the same as carrying a rifle for a living for a 6-month deployment where every day you're utilizing your rifle. So, I mean, like, it doesn't matter who you go train with as long as it's a good, accomplished, accredited instructor that has the knowledge to pass on to you. Like I tell people, going to training is one of the best things to figure out what's wrong with your gear, what works for you as far as your setup, like your load carriage, the things that you've been shown. Maybe like you watch a video like this and you want to try it out. Well, that's the place you go vet it out. And that's not your basement. It's not your living room. It's actual live fire doing it for hours on end.
Yeah, if you go to a course and you have tons of different drills that you're going to go through, you're going to go through them multiple times. And if you go through a drill and you do it, you know, with a C-clamp one time and maybe with the mag well another time, and you know, you can do that and talk to the instructors. And all the courses I've been to, the instructors have been more than willing to, you know, hey, can I go through this one more time just to double check something, or I want to try something different. They're all willing to do that, and good instructors will, you know, kind of work with you. And
yeah, I've never had an instructor either in the military or civilian side of the house tell me no. Like, I'll ask a question like, is it okay to do this? And they're like, let's go do it. You know, like, hey, is this better than that way? Let's go find out. A lot of times, like, it's just a matter of like, they want to see what you're talking about and they want you to try, and like, they're probably going to tell you to stick with whatever's working the best for you. If there's two ways of approaching the same problem, why do it the harder way? And like I said, like looking cool doesn't get you anything. Yeah. It doesn't add anything to it. So if you do that super exaggerated grip and you get your hits and you're the fastest cat around with a blaster, then fine, like rock on, keep doing that. If you're doing it just for the sake of looking cool for IG photos, and you're not getting your hits, or you're slow, or you're not recovering from the recoil, whatever it might be, then you probably shouldn't be doing it that way.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. So that's our thoughts on the exaggerated C-clamp, even the C-clamp grip. I saw the article, I thought it was interesting, thought I'd kind of talk to Nate about it. I had my thoughts on it, he had his thoughts. They're pretty much the same. You know, if whatever works for you, and you know, when they talk about vital organs and stuff like that, you're talking about someone, say, let's just have an example here. Someone comes into your house and the over-exaggerated C-clamp is what works for you. The majority of people who are coming in your house probably don't train. I mean, it's not assassins. John Wick's not coming into your house to shoot you in the face, usually. Usually. Yeah. Possibly, but probably not.
Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stop, like, you're gonna stop and put body armor on? Like, you got seconds to react. You're gonna kill the guy in your underwear. You're gonna burn the guy down in your boxer shorts. It's just gonna be you in your underwear with a carbine or a pistol, whatever, going to work. So it's like, a lot of this stuff I don't even think is worth worrying about. Like, I don't think about this stuff. I don't worry about it. I think a lot of people, honestly, I think they waste a lot of time worrying about trivial things that don't even matter. And I'm gonna say it right now, like, I think this is one of those things. It's not even worth, like, just go try a couple different ways of holding a rifle. And whatever works, that's what people did before the internet, before YouTube. You went and tried it, and if it worked for you, you stuck with it.
Yeah.
So go do the same.
Now, as far as the article goes, the only thing I can see that I really agree with is the peripheral vision part of it. I mean, you do lose peripheral vision if you have that high up, you know, C-clamp, exaggerated C-clamp or whatever. Right. But the rest of it, I think, you know, I think there's some give and take there that can be taken from it. But do you lose peripheral vision when you do that? Yes.
But that could be, like, once again, that could be like one of the situation dictates. Like, if you go into a room and you've already visually cleared that there's no other threats in that room except for that one, then losing that peripheral vision when there's no doorway, no window, or any other potential for a threat,
for like 3 seconds.
For the 3 seconds the rifle's going to be up that you're firing it, then what's it matter? Does it hurt you really? Realistically, does it take away from your ability to engage the target? No. But then again, if you're like holding it up like that for like 5 minutes, not only is that extremely fatiguing, but you are cheating yourself out of your field of view.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to apply differently to, you know, soldiers compared to somebody who's in home defense. I mean, I think it's going to apply a little bit differently to the application too.
Yeah, so that's true. I mean, like, I don't shoot the same way at a 3-gun match that I would shoot in combat, which is one of the reasons why I don't think like shooting sports or like just even plinking in the backyard, like, there's a right way to train for the right situation. You know, if you're training for combat as a Marine, like, you're going to train a little bit different than a guy trying to win, you know, a 3-gun match. So your setup's going to be different. There's going to be so many variables. So don't think that like every way of shooting has a universal adapter on it. It's applicable to everything, because it doesn't. Yeah. Like, very little in the shooting world is universally applicable outside of the fundamentals. That's the part that everybody should be worried about. That's the part that everybody should be focusing on, is 100% of application of the fundamentals 100% of the time.
Yeah, and what I'm going to focus on is the fact that I just tried the exaggerated C-clamp, and it did donkey dick for me, so I'm not going to do it again.
Learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson. Yeah. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, go ahead and put them down below. If you guys want to go out and try out the exaggerated C-clamp, or you can go out and talk about your opinion on the C-clamp, go ahead and make your videos about it. Until next time, later.
On the camera?